Thanks for joining us for CBN News Midday. I'm Lori Johnson. Protests that rocked the Arab world in recent weeks are now hitting Syria. Tens of thousands of protesters there took to the streets today following Friday prayers. They're demanding government reform. Emergency laws in place for nearly 50 years ban all forms of demonstrations, but that's not stopping the Syrians. A warning, some of the images in our next report may be disturbing. Here's George Thomas.
These are the images and sounds that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad doesn't want the world to see. Tens of thousands of protesters chanting freedom slogans. For nearly 40 years, Bashar al-Assad and his family has ruled the Syrian nation with an iron grip. Now the president is possibly facing a threat against his regime like never before.
This is the worst carnage in Syria since 1982, when Bashar Assad's father, Hafez al-Assad, killed 20,000 people to try and put down a Muslim Brotherhood uprising.
The southern city of Darar is in the crosshairs of Syrian security forces.
The sound of live ammunition, security forces dispatched in full force.
The network Al Jazeera is reporting fierce battles between police and protesters. Then there's this disturbing video that has surfaced on YouTube, allegedly showing dead people on the streets of Darar. Others can be seen lying on the ground bleeding. The Arabic channel Al Arabiya claims some 100 people have been killed in fighting between police and protesters. Darar is symptomatic of many cities today across the Middle East. Poor, Islamic, too much unemployment, and too little freedom.
Syria is similar to what we saw in uprisings in Tunisia and Egypt, and Libya for that matter, in that the dictators, the Arab despots, are keeping huge sums of money for themselves, stowing it away in Swiss banks, and these young people who have a hard time finding jobs are moving to the towns away from the rural areas because they have no jobs and no opportunity.
Syrians are looking at a region that's unraveling before their eyes. From Algeria to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Yemen, waves of protest against autocratic dictators. Experts wonder if Syria will be the next Arab regime to fall. For now, though, all eyes are on Friday. A Facebook group called the Syria Revolution 2011 is calling for rallies at mosques across the country Friday on a day of dignity. George Thomas, CBN News.
The U.S. hopes to hand over command of the no-fly zone in Libya to NATO this weekend. It's a move the Obama administration has sought for days. The U.S., France, and Britain still share the main task of attacking Gaddafi's ground forces and air defense systems, which complicates handing control of the mission over to NATO. Some in Congress want the administration to define the U.S. mission. But in an ABC News exclusive interview, the commander defended it.
I don't think he can stand by and have that debate about end state while he's killing his own people. By that point, it may have become a moot point.
Next week, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton travels to London to help coordinate the international coalition. Well, so far, the no-fly zone has proved very effective over Libya. CBN News military reporter Chuck Holton is in Italy, where American forces are taking part in the mission.
American aircraft continue to come and go from the Naval Air Station here at Sigonella in support of Operation Odyssey Dawn. But as pressure mounts in Washington for the Obama administration to find a way out of the conflict and minimize costs to the taxpayers, the military personnel here are going to continue to support their brothers in arms in the skies over Libya.
Lieutenant Matt Knight is the base public affairs officer.
Naval Air Station Sigonella is a logistics base. Our historical mission is to support 6th Fleet, NATO, and combatant commanders. In this operation, that support has just become greater. However, it's still our normal mission. It's just that the scale and the scope has increased. They were flying from here to Tunisia to Cairo, taking refugees out before this started. So we started as a humanitarian and then shifted into supporting ongoing operations mandated by the UN Resolution 1973.
Chuck Holton, CBN News at Sigonella Naval Air Station.
For the past decade, America's Veterans Affairs hospitals and medical facilities have been overwhelmed with casualties of war. And to add fuel to the fire, a new survey of the nation's female veterans finds the VA's care for women is lacking. Jennifer Wishon has the story from Washington.
More than 200,000 women have fought or are fighting in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And despite efforts to keep them out of direct ground combat, the enemy's use of guerrilla tactics routinely put women on the front lines. But a survey conducted by the American Legion found only a quarter of America's 1.8 million female vets take advantage of medical benefits available through Veterans Affairs.
Women who have been wounded, women who have lost limbs, women who suffer mentally and emotionally today because they chose to serve America.
The survey found one of the issues is privacy.
Many female veterans don't feel safe in the care environment for simple concerns such as privacy. So closing the door when the patient is in for exam. Those are common sense things.
Other survey results, 25% say they're dissatisfied with the competence of VA health providers compared to private doctors. Nearly 40% are dissatisfied with the screening process for military sexual trauma, which is required for all vets receiving VA care. 38% say they wouldn't use a VA doctor for a second opinion, even if it was free. And the survey suggests there's lots of room for improvement to female-specific care.
Any primary care provider can do an annual pelvic exam, which is a really important exam. But do they do it? Are they comfortable doing it? Do the exam tables have stirrups? Those kind of things are VAs moving in that direction.
Command Sergeant Major Francis Rivera serves as a medical commander.
I'm living here with a lot of ideas.
And since surveys often collect dust in Washington, the American Legion is vowing to use it to make positive healthcare changes for the women who've served America with honor. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Turning now to the disaster in Japan, where there could be a breach in the reactor core at one unit of the damaged nuclear plant. Officials fear that could mean more serious radioactive contamination. Here's Charlene Israel.
Officials became suspicious of the breach after two workers waded into water 10,000 times more radioactive than normal and suffered skin burns when the water splashed over their protective boots. They were evacuated from the plant and rushed to the hospital.
These workers had direct contact with highly radioactive water touching their feet, touching their skin. This means that they will come down with radiation burns. They know that some of them may not come out of this accident alive.
Officials say this latest threat is yet another setback in attempts to gain control of the plant 2 weeks after the deadly earthquake and tsunami engulfed the facility and knocked out its crucial cooling system. Radiation from the plant has been showing up in raw milk and vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower. Tokyo continues to wrestle with fears over tainted tap water after test results showed levels had shot up above what's legally safe for infants.
We've been using tap water for cooking and other things for the children, but we've changed to pure water for all the cooking and drinking water.
Meanwhile, the death toll in the country has risen to over 10,000. 18,000 people are still listed as missing. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Operation Blessing is on the scene in Japan. The disaster relief team is delivering literally tons of food, water, and emergency supplies to shelters and hospitals. In one city alone, about 15,000 people are being housed in 200 different shelters. To learn more about their efforts in Japan and to find out how you can help, go to our website, cbnnews.com. Hispanics made up more than half of America's population growth in the last decade. That's the word from census officials who just released data they've been mining from the big 2010 U.S. Census. They say America's Hispanics now number more than 50 million. That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. And almost a quarter of Hispanics in America are under the age of 18. Jeff Pasal is a demographer with the Pew Hispanic Center. He tells CBN News this number will continue to grow.
There's a very large concentration in the young adult ages, and they're having children. So you're right, about 1 out of 4 newborns is Hispanic today. For the entire population under 18, about 23%. are Latino. This last decade, we saw more Hispanic births than immigrants, so the births are feeding the growth more than immigration. That's the first time that's happened since the 1960s, and our projections tell us that that gap is going to continue to grow.
To see our full interview with Jeff, go to our website, cbnnews.com. A dangerous drug-resistant bacteria is spreading among patients in Southern California. Doctors are calling it a superbug. Health officials are reporting over 350 cases, mostly in elderly patients.
The scary part about these cases are that it's a bacteria that is pretty common but develops resistance to most of the antibiotics that we have. These are usually in patients who have previously either been in a nursing home or in other hospitals or have seen a course of antibiotics or several courses of antibiotics, and as a result the bacteria becomes resistant to most of the antibiotics that we use.
The superbug is generally spread through person-to-person contact. It has pneumonia-like symptoms. Coming up, black gold, billions of barrels of oil sitting undiscovered right here in the United States.
Have you ever had an idea for an invention or new product? Bill Schaefer, one of the inventors of Whammo's new Splash Wash, did. He came up with the idea while watching his children play one hot summer afternoon. Bill invented a car wash for kids. Ride through it, run through it. InventHelp submitted the Splash Wash to Whammo, the makers of childhood favorites like the Frisbee, Hula Hoop, and Slip and Slide. If you have an invention you would like to try to patent and submit to corporations and want free information that explains how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest invention company with sales offices in over 50 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Bill Schaefer made a financial gain on the Splash Wash. However, most inventions are not successful, and Bill's experience is not typical of what inventors can expect.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-260-7793. That's 1-800-260-7793.
I've fallen and I can't get up. I need help.
When you are home alone and have a bad fall where you cannot move, you are stuck in a very limited area. If you cannot reach a phone, you may lay helpless on the floor for hours or days, which can result in permanent incapacitation or death.
This waterproof pendant is my magic wand. To some of the paramedics, fire department, police, or my doctor, it contacts Life Alert.
When you have a heart attack like I did, and there's no one there, Life Alert was there for me. I couldn't handle the alternative of going to a nursing home.
Thanks to Life Alert, you can live alone without ever being alone. And that's why I wear one.
New Life Alert Classic for seniors or Life Alert 50+.
Please call 1-800-586-0025 for a free brochure about Life Alert. That's 1-800-586-0025. Call us toll-free now at 1-800-586-0025. That number again, 1-800-586-0025.
Well, the price of oil is still climbing. It's over $105 today as the fighting in Libya threatens oil supplies. But we should have new sources of oil soon from right here in America. Here's Mark Martin.
North Dakota's prairies and badlands have a peaceful beauty. But for many, what lies underneath this landscape is the real draw, or real play, as they say in the oil industry.
There's a tremendous amount of oil in the Bakken.
North Dakota, its neighbor Montana, and a part of Canada are home to what's known as the Bakken Formation, a massive area covering about 200,000 square miles. The United States Geological Survey estimates the American portion holds 3 to 4.3 billion barrels of undiscovered, technically recoverable oil. Unlike conventional wells where the oil collects in a certain area, the oil in the Bakken is spread throughout shale rock, primarily over a large area.
These were here before, but our knowledge of them is not what it is now. The technology was not here before to develop these.
It most definitely is here now. Production in the Bakken jumped 50% in just the past year. Here's the main hole where they're drilling for the oil. This drill pipe here goes 2 miles down into the ground and then 2 miles over to extract the oil. It's a technique known as horizontal drilling. Drilling down, then out. The horizontal drilling is opening up vast fields of oil once locked away in rock. That's helping to reverse a 2-decade decline in the domestic production of crude. Companies are investing billions of dollars to drill for oil in North Dakota, Colorado, Texas, and California. Oil executives and analysts say in just 4 years, the new fields could yield as much as 2 million barrels of oil a day, more than the entire Gulf of Mexico produces now. And for North Dakota, that's great news for the state's economy.
What's happening here is so different than what's happening in the rest of the nation. I mean, we have rising property values, we have low unemployment.
Unemployment in North Dakota has dropped to the lowest level in the nation, 3.8%. That's far less than half the national rate.
Right now, the state has a budget surplus, and a lot of it's due to the oil activity in western North Dakota.
At a time when states face massive budget deficits, the shale oil boom has handed North Dakota a $1 billion budget surplus. And the hope is that increasing our domestic supply of oil will benefit the entire nation by bringing gas prices down and reducing our dependence on foreign oil.
Our appetite for energy is so big that it takes a lot of pieces to meet that need.
But it's a step in the right direction.
Sure. If it's developed and all of the environmental concerns are addressed.
Environmentalists are concerned that fluids or wastewater from the hydraulic fracturing, a process used to remove the oil from the shale, could pollute drinking water. The Environmental Protection Agency is investigating. But those concerns aside, the big oil fields here could help the U.S. cut its dependence on foreign sources by as much as half within 10 years. Mark Martin, CBN News, Dickinson, North Dakota.
The Obama administration is calling on the United Nations to fight for gay rights around the world. The U.S. issued a declaration asking governments to review how gays are treated. It also urges the end of criminal punishments on homosexuals. The document says people must be freed from discrimination based on sexual orientation, but acknowledges that, quote, these are sensitive issues for many. Up next, he's a straight shooter with a vision to revive America and to back Israel. Meet Congressman Allan West next. Stay with us.
Starting a garden doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not when you have the Mantis Tiller Cultivator. It does all the hard work for you. The Mantis Tiller weighs about 20 pounds. It's easy for anyone to handle. 3 convenient power options spin the patented tines deep into the soil. They dig down, cutting through the hardest clay and tangled weeds. They're so tough, they're actually guaranteed never to break. And on our 2-cycle model, Mantis offers the fast start engine option. It's our easiest starting 2-cycle tiller ever. Tilling, weeding, and cultivating have never been easier. And now you can get this amazing Mantis Tiller Cultivator at huge savings. Order now, and we include a kickstand accessory, this border edger attachment, and free shipping. Use the Mantis for a full year, and if you're not delighted, return it for a prompt, no questions asked refund.
Call 1-800-707-2105 today for a free DVD and information kit. That's 1-800-707-2105.
Attention those on Medicare with diabetes. You may be eligible for an upgraded meter.
If you're tired of stabbing your fingertips to test your blood glucose, we have news that could change your life. If you're on Medicare with diabetes, then you need to know there's an alternative method for checking your blood glucose every day. You don't need to stab your fingertips anymore. The Embrace meter from Diabetes Care Club is easier to use and nearly painless. And the best news is that Diabetes Care Club would love to send you one of these meters. This method hurts less, and because you can see and hear your results, it may be easier to understand.
Your blood glucose reading is 89.
Call now to find out why. Nearly 250,000 patients have joined Diabetes Care Club. Membership is free, so is the call.
Call 1-800-833-8011.
Talk to Diabetes Care Club. You'll be glad you did.
Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Allan West served in the military in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now he's moved on to a new battlefield, Washington, D.C., and he's taking the Capitol by storm. Eric Stakelbeck recently talked to the freshman congressman about his vision for America.
If there was any doubt that Allan West might reach rock star status, his recent speech to the CPAC convention in Washington put it to rest.
Stand firm, for this is the dawn of a new America.
God bless you all. God bless America, steadfast and loyal.
Conservatives are smitten with the first-time congressman from Florida. A 22-year Army veteran, he's a straight shooter with no love for political correctness.
One of the things that I've kind of noticed when you cross the Potomac is that truth becomes subjective, and I will not subscribe to that.
That includes his view on defeating radical Islam.
When you look at the national security strategy, it does not talk about jihadism, does not talk about Islamic terrorism, does not talk about Muslim extremism. As a matter of fact, it talks more about global warming and climate change. We have to be able to stand up and forthrightly declare there is an ideology out there that is fueling this thing. You can't say this is a war on terrorism. Terrorism is a tactic, and a nation can't fight a tactic. We have to have that dialogue up here in the halls of Congress and with our leadership, or else we're just going to head down the road to perdition.
When it comes to battling Islamic jihadists, West speaks from personal experience. The Bronze Star winner served in Desert Storm and Iraqi Freedom and trained Afghan officers. Now, with Iran driving to acquire nuclear weapons and dominate the Middle East, West sees another threat that must be confronted.
They want the return of the hidden imam, and that can only occur with an apocalyptic event, and they believe that, dropping something on Israel is that event. And I think eventually the time of sanctions will have to cease, and you have to look at their military capability that you'll have to take out.
West's combination of national security street cred and fiscal conservatism resonated with voters in Florida's 22nd district. His message:
to restore our republic and understand that a republic is based upon the rule of law and the respect of individual rights and freedoms, to recommit to our constitutional principles and values, and to reclaim our American pride.
That God and country conservative philosophy was instilled in West as a young man growing up in the inner city of Atlanta, the third of 4 generations of military servicemen in his family.
If it weren't for the fact that, my mother and father raised me to believe in something that is greater than myself, when you come into those hard times, you have to have prayer, you have to have a conviction of spirit. And, when you leave out of here, you'll see the prayer of Jabez, 1 Chronicles chapter 4, I believe it's verse 7. That's what I live by, that God will bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that his hand will be upon me to keep me from evil, and so that I will not cause harm.
One of West's goals here on Capitol Hill is to help roll back a health care law that he says has caused a whole lot of harm for average Americans.
Out of that 2,500 pages, maybe 10 pages are worth keeping. The other 2,490 need to be scrapped. Now, if we don't have the consent from the Senate to go forward, then what we're going to do is take it on piecemeal, because it's a failure. It does affect our jobs. It does affect our economy. 11 new taxes, $500 billion of cuts in Medicare, the small businesses that are dropping people off of their health care plans, the insurance rates that are going up.
Health care is just one area where West differs sharply from President Obama. Another is the administration's push to divide the city of Jerusalem.
When you look at Jerusalem, it has always been the capital of Israel. Israel has been around for 5,771 years. In 1948, the modern state of Israel was resurrected. So, we talk about returning this land back to the rightful owners and people. Well, I kind of have to tell you, that's the Jewish people.
West sees a growing threat posed by the Muslim Brotherhood, a group that many fear will seize control in Egypt and which also operates closer to home.
It is a plan to infiltrate into the United States of America, into our operating systems, being cultural, religious, economic, political, education, and cause the downfall of our constitutional republic from within. And this is a Muslim Brotherhood that are tied to terrorist activities all across our globe.
Despite threats facing an America that some analysts say is in decline, West is confident that he can help right the ship on Capitol Hill and leave a stronger country for his 2 daughters.
For whatever reason, we tried this big government liberal progressive agenda for 2 years. We see that it's not going in the right direction. So we're going to self-correct ourselves, because what made America great in 234 years was not a large government, but it's an indomitable American spirit, and that's what we're going to resurrect.
Eric Stackelbeck, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
Up next, one company's new wellness program that's helping employees shed pounds while they work.
Millions of women worldwide love Bare Minerals.
This is smooth, it's nice, and it covers.
Only Bare Minerals looks like beautiful bare skin, while it covers whatever you want it to. And now you can get our latest kit with our totally new, totally spill-proof Click Lock Go Foundation for over 75% off retail. Our new kit comes with Bare Minerals Foundation in the shade that's just right for you. Warmth for a healthy glow. Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch. And Bare Minerals Flawless Application Brush. Call now and get 3 full-size gifts worth $57.95 free. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But now you can get all this for just 1 payment of $29.99. Save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 1-800-376-4174. Ask how you can receive this handy compact. Call 1-800-376-4174 now.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
Studies show that a healthy person is generally more productive and happier. Well, one California company is putting that to the test. Employees at the Blue Shield call center in Redding have the option to work at their desk or while walking on a treadmill.
What I have behind me here is a walking workstation, right? And so instead of asking people to find time to go to the gym or go out and exercise, what about thinking about a new way of doing physical activity? Bring it to the desktop, literally, so you can work out and do your work at the same time.
The first week was a little adjusting. You had to learn how to do the whole walk, talk, and type thing, but after that, it's a breeze. I like it. I'm hoping that they bring it on full-time after this, and that we can sign up for more than just 2 days a week.
The company has been using the walking workstations for about a year now. Researchers from Harvard University and the University of California at Berkeley are studying the company to see if the treadmills really provide any true benefits. And I bet they do. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of CBN News Midday. You can find information on all the stories you've seen right here at cbnnews.com. And you can stay up to date with CBN News through Facebook and Twitter. We hope you'll join us again next time. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Starting a garden doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not when you have the Mantis Tiller Cultivator. It does all the hard work for you. The Mantis Tiller weighs about 20 pounds. It's easy for anyone to handle. 3 convenient power options spin the patented tines deep into the soil. They dig down, cutting through the hardest clay and tangled weeds. They're so tough, they're actually guaranteed never to break. And on our 2-cycle model, Mantis offers the fast start engine option. It's our easiest starting 2-cycle tiller ever. Tilling, weeding, and cultivating have never been easier. And now you can get this amazing Mantis Tiller Cultivator at huge savings. Order now, and we include a kickstand accessory, this border edger attachment, and free shipping. Use the Mantis for a full year, and if you're not delighted, return it for a prompt, no questions asked refund.
Call 1-800-707-2105 today for a free DVD and information kit. That's 1-800-707-2105.
Introducing the all-new Gizmo's Bible Adventures from Superbook.tv. This delightful full-color 30-day devotional is filled with fun puzzles and activities you can do with your children, and it's absolutely free. Kids will love finding out how to grow as a Christian from Chris, Joy, and Gizmo, their Superbook friends. Parents, please visit Superbook.tv and click on the Gizmo's Bible Adventures link to download this booklet today. It can help build a wonderful life for your kids.